Hello everybody. I want to show you a variation of the ribbon rose. This will be not folded, just gathered with a running stitch. Super easy. And here I'm just showing you a project that I made. One is a bit of a long, sort of narrow table runner, and the other one is a square. And these are individual roses that I made by hand, and then I stitched each one together by hand. And some of them I put a bead in the center, and I just had a lot of fun. And you can do this yourself at home. It's just a really wonderful therapeutic project, and you don't have to use these bright wild colors like I did. You can use earth tones or only pinks or only purples or really anything you want. I've also used fabric which I cut into 1.5 inch strips, and that was really interesting too. Unfortunately, one of my cats, or a couple of my cats, peed on one of these. I'm not sure why they did that. I was very upset. Had to take it to the dry cleaner, and it was never quite the same. But anyway, maybe they're just upset that I spend too much time with my art. For this project you'll need, again, ribbon. It can be sheer, satin, and approximately 1.5 inch, an inch, even wider. But if you make it too narrow, I mean you can, but it's a little bit harder to work with. And all you need is a nice long needle. A long one helps to when you're gathering, and you can get a lot of fabric onto a long needle. Some thick thread, dark for dark ribbon and white for white ribbon. And that's all you need, really. In the ribbon world, there's an abbreviation RW. RW is the ribbon width, this width right here. So you would need for this project 12 RWs. And I never use a ruler, I just guesstimate because it's a rose, so it doesn't really matter. There's no such thing as perfection, but approximately 12 RWs, so that would be about 1 foot. And just give it a cut. And these are the roses we'll be making today. Just 12 inches of ribbon, a running stitch, and stitched together in the bottom and at the edge. And with some of them I've put a bead in the center, a really pretty bead. And this was fabric that I cut into 1 inch or 1.5 inch, and that was fun too, to make it some certain ribbon you just can't buy. Like, I don't think I would find this ribbon anywhere. Cow pattern. Okay, just make sure your thread is long enough to make a running stitch across the ribbon, and make sure there's a knot at the end. Very simple. Now start by making a back stitch so that your first stitch is secure. Later on, when you gather the ribbon, you don't want the thread to come falling out or pull out. There you go. Now, depending on your stitch, if it's a long stitch, it'll create a totally different rose than if you make small, short stitches. So in this case, I'm making a long one. Long running stitch. See how a long needle comes in handy for this. And just keep going till you get to the end. Shouldn't take too long. Don't poke yourself. Okay. You can pull the ribbon a little bit as you go. Okay. Now, before you do any knotting or tying off, gather your fabric to create your rose, and just gather the 2 ends. Looks a little bit sloppy here, but just get those 2 ends. From the back is actually the easiest. And make sure you've gathered it. And then sew these 2 ends together. The 2 ends that you cut. With a secure back stitch. And what I always do is sew these two edges. I make a little running stitch across the two edges. Give it a clean finished look. There we go. I gather that a little bit as well, and then another back stitch, and we're pretty well done. And a knot, cut it off, and then you can go back and, so you see with the long running stitch you get a very ruffled effect, and if you want it to be a little bit flatter like this one, then you have to make short running stitches. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Have fun with your rose projects.